Okay, so here's the problem we're going to be working with. So it says a farmer has chickens and pigs. He counts 40 heads and 100 feet. How many pigs and how many chickens does he have? So I'm going to solve the problem using a drawn out picture diagram. The problem could be solved using an equation, but I think that it's important before trying to explain that to kids to explain this way of solving it first. Just this way is a lot more visual to look at it, and it's easier to understand, I think, for a lot of kids. And I mean, obviously there are some kids that it won't be easier to understand this way, but I just think that explaining that this is how we know how to make the equation to solve the problem is important. So this is the way I'm going to show how to do the problem. So first of all, we need to establish the things that we already know about the problem. So the things we already know about the problem is that we have 40 heads, 100 feet. We're working with chickens and we're working with pigs. So we know just about those two animals that chickens have 2 feet, pigs have 4 feet. We know we have 100 feet. And so that means that each animal is going to have at least 2 feet. So I've already drawn out, to save a little bit of time, the 40 animals. So I just drew 40 circles to represent the 40 animals in the problem. And since, like I said, we already know that because chickens have 2 feet, pigs have 4 feet, each animal is going to have at least 2 feet. So we're going to draw 2 feet on each animal. Right. And like I said, this would be a lot simpler if you were doing it with an equation, but because I think that it's important for kids to understand how this problem is working out visually, we're going to draw all 40 animals and all 100 feet. So there are all of our animals. They now have 2 feet. So now we need to figure out how many of those 100 feet have we used up so far. We know that we have 40 heads or 40 animals, and we just put 2 feet on each animal. So we can do 40 times 2 to get our 80. Or if we're really young and we don't understand multiplication yet, we can also just go through and count all of the feet that we've already drawn out. But because we did multiplication, we already know that there are 80 feet right now. So we need to figure out how many feet we have left. So we're going to do 100 minus that 80 to get 20. So we know that now that we have 20 feet left over. We also know that we're not going to have any animals that have just 3 feet. Our two options are 2 feet or 4 feet. So with our 20 feet that we have left, we're going to give some of our animals 2 more feet to make it 4. So we're just going to count as we go, adding our 20 feet onto our animals, making sure that we're not giving just 1 foot to any animal because no animal has 3 feet. So adding 2 to each animal until we run out of feet. So we have 20 feet left. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, so we used up the last of our 20 feet, making sure we only gave 2 feet to animals, not 1, because animals can't have 3 feet. All right, so now we see our animals with 4 feet, we see our animals with 20 feet. We've used up all 40 heads and all 100 feet. Now it's a matter of counting out our pigs and counting out our chickens. So we know our animals with 4 feet that we've drawn out are going to be our pigs. So let's count those. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have 10 pigs. Okay, now we can go through and count the rest, or we can just do some simple subtraction. That's the way that I'm going to do it, just because that's simpler. I don't want to count that many again. But if I didn't understand subtraction that well yet, it wasn't that great at it, I could totally count as well. So we started out with 40 heads. We subtract 10 because we know that many are pigs. That leaves us with 30. So we now know that we have 10 pigs and we have 30 chickens. Now we can go through and check our work. So let's look at the problem again. We have 40 heads, we have 100 feet. We can go through and count all of our little feet to make sure we have 100 feet. We can also go through and count all of our heads to make sure we still have 100 heads. We can recount our animals that we had 4 feet on, and we can recount all of our animals that we had 2 feet on. But basically, that's the problem. We have 10 pigs and we have 30 chickens, and that's how I solved the problem using a picture diagram.